Hi, I'm Ellie Crystal, and I want to talk about how my blog, Ellie's World, developed from a few simple sentences on a page every day into what it is today. Way back in 1995, the first version of Crystal Links came online, August 25th. The blog that I did was called Ellie's Personal Views or something to that effect. That's over 20 years ago. And basically, I just wrote down a few little sentences every day. The first day it went up, I had no way of telling readers or other people to read it. But this first day the Crystal Links went up and the blog as it was went up, there were actually 59 people who came to read it. And I was over the moon like, 59 people. But I am guided, and I've been guided through my whole journey, as many of you know, with a guide named Zoroaster, who we call Z. And Z used to come to me in the morning, and things just started to evolve. He would tell me, blog about this, blog about that. And so time passed, maybe into the next year, into 96, and one of the readers was a man named John in Australia. John said to me, you really need to put some pictures up on your blog. It's such a good blog. So by emailing back and forth in one phone conversation, he showed me how to upload pictures, some that I found online, some that were my own personal pictures. You know, it wasn't as simple as it is today. You snap a picture, you put it online, you're good to go. But little by little by little, things started to evolve. And before I knew it, a word came into our vocabulary called blog. And so Ellie's Personal Experiences became Ellie's World, or Ellie's World blog. And it started taking on different meaning and definitions each year. Originally, it was a lot about what was going on in, I guess you would call it, occult themes, more like UFOs, crop circles. I remember going off and having my own crop circle adventure and posting pictures about it and things of that kind. People were interested in ghosts, anything paranormal. Paranormal was before healing. So I wrote a lot about paranormal, creating files in Crystal Links as I was guided to do by Z. And so everything became more elaborate and more integrated. From topics of the paranormal, I moved into the whole world of channeling, and that took me, of course, to healing, energy, and that just went on and on and on. There were audio files made that had to do with doing meditations, and that became more elaborate. And then the internet at that point, we're now past 2000, was starting to explode. Topics varied. I would talk about predictions, mine and others. It was now 2000, and people were coming into a new space of awareness. Everyone was getting online. People had blogs up, although most of the blogs that will go back to the 1990s, most of those websites, I should say, that go back to the 1990s are no longer online anymore. People just ran out of material to say, or they were really doing it for the money. I was doing it because I was passionate about it. I didn't care if 59 people read it, or it actually went into the thousands and then hundreds of thousands per day, which of course gives you more excitement about going in every day to do it. Basically, it is, I guess, an extension of me and my thoughts and my consciousness. But when I do a blog, whether it was back in 95 or today in 2016 going into 2017, I never know what I'm going to blog in the morning. I get up, I sit at the computer, I don't take any cues from news media or anything else, and whatever comes into my mind is what I blog. Back in the day, Z used to guide the blogs, and people were all excited. What is he saying? What is he doing? You know, it doesn't follow that anymore. It's not a reliance on spirit or anything esoteric to do a blog. It's just tapping into what I call the consciousness grids of what's in the here and what's in the now. And I have found that through the years, I blog something in the morning, say 7, 8 o'clock, done. And by the late afternoon, people from all over would email me and say, that's exactly the experience I'm having. So I knew that whatever I was tapping into, I can create a storyline about anything. You can show me a picture, I can give you a whole story on it, because I'm a storyteller. I'm not so much a writer. And as everybody knows, I go back and I edit my blog several different times to get it the way I want it and integrate it with news media, integrate it with Wikipedia, integrate it with Crystal Links itself. But I just get up in the morning. Whatever comes into my head is what I write about. It could be a simple something that's happening in my life. It could be something in the world. It could be politics and weather and sports and you name it. I can do a blog about it, and I can integrate it into other things is what really is exciting for me and what I feel I'm good at. Like I'm just networking and pulling together different things that different people reading the blog can relate to. They may be silly things, they may be boring things, and they say, I don't like this blog. I have had people who have emailed me and said, I used to read your blog faithfully every day, then I got too busy, I changed my job, I had a child, I just got busy with life, and so I stopped reading for a few years, and now I'm back. And I still see that you are right on target with the things you blog about. To blog is to know what people want to read. There are bloggers who have come along who deal with specific issues like women's issues, children's issues, food, health, you name it, and that's where they go with their blogs. They generally don't do it every day. They'll blog maybe twice a week or whatever, as long as you have to have something interesting to say to people. So they will find their topic and stay with their topic. I've only had one topic through it all, okay? And it goes back, all the way back to when my psychic abilities first opened, and my reason for being here, my passion, my direction is to bring into focus the fact that we live in a simulation or a holographic universe. I started typing and blogging about that way back in 1995, but people really weren't interested. They didn't get it. It wasn't in physics. It wasn't in metaphysics. It was just something that Ellie liked to talk about. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to set this aside and follow the grids. And the grids, as I said, they went from the paranormal to healing and energy, and everything became about heal your issues, heal your issues. And I can write blogs about heal your issues and have no problems with that. I'm okay, but eventually, like any other topic in a blog, it becomes saturated. How many times am I going to write the same thing and come up and invent a new way to say it? So the years passed, and the blogging, I love doing the meditations. I love taking my own journeys outside of my home and blogging about those and posting pictures, and just the more I embellish a blog, the happier I am, because it gives people a chance to integrate, and that's what we're really here for. We're here to take a journey and to grow with it. You can't stay in the same place. You can't heal in the same way you did in 1995. You can't look at life that way. You can't do anything as you did then. You have to evolve beyond. And if the healing system that you either use or have created on your own, or whatever you're doing with it, you find that it no longer works, it's outdated, then you have to stop and say, well, why? And sooner or later, you are going to come back to the simulation as our reality, or the holographic universe as it really is, and you're going to find out that everything that happens to you, to me, to the universe, to the upcoming election, to everything else is just the product of science and math and an algorithm. We are here to experience in linear time emotions. They can be positive and negative. Linear time is based on electromagnetic energy grids, which means there will always be the positive and the negative, forever trying to find their balance. And once it almost is there, it gets lost again. but that's an important part of the blogging today. With the blogs, I have now recently decided I'm going to use my cell phone and move from typing, which I still do, to audio, which I don't do too much of, to little video blogs, and just to sit here and just talk about topics and things that are, now I find they have to be contemporary. I can't blog about how you can heal your issues, because the bottom line is you only heal your issues when you're programmed to. I've been blogging a lot about politics, but at the end of the day, with Donald Trump saying that everything is rigged, at the end of the day, it's not rigged in the sense of somebody is going in and actually rigging the voter count. It's the whole thing is rigged. Everything is rigged. Everything is orchestrated that we do. It goes from the hologram setting things in motion to governments, to the fact that the governments don't actually rule and don't actually call the shots. They're done by other governments. We call them secret governments. You can call them whatever you want to call them. But little by little, inch by inch, we are getting there, and we are starting to understand through the endless numbers of blogs that are out there today, including my own, how things in this world work. The conspiracy theorists are having a good time with Donald Trump and everything else. The people who blog about ecology and environment, they're showing something that I blogged when I met Gordon Michael Scallion back in 1995, that reality as we know it, the geophysical planet as we know it, is something else that's in motion, and it is evolving. There is no going back, and it's really nobody's fault. This is just the way we're programmed now, because this is end times. The climate changes, the natural disasters, the earthquakes that years ago I said these things are going to accelerate, and as we get closer to the end, they're going to be faster and faster and more frequent to each other. This has all come to pass. Everything that I and other psychics, I'm not alone in this, that we all saw. You can throw Casey in there, okay? You may say, well, Edgar Casey was wrong when he spoke about this and that. It doesn't really matter. Time is an illusion. The fact is, all the prophecies, and I spent a lot of time with prophecies in 2011, 2012, that whole window, all of the prophecies named this as end times, no matter where you're going to look at it, okay? So prophecies became a very large part of the grid, the consciousness grid, and hence my blogs. Today, they're not that popular because in 2012, millions of people were disappointed that we didn't do any number of things they were expecting, from the planet blowing up to maybe aliens returning to us ascending. This whole thing with this ascension thing goes back to 1995. You and I, and even the planet, we are not ascending in physical form to fourth and fifth dimensional reality. We are not going there. That is not happening. So you really have to be very clear about it. When you leave physical reality, you are not you. You are consciousness and light. If you can remote view and travel consciously and go up to parallel realities, move forward in time, move backward in time, it takes skill and practice. I've done a lot of blogs on that too, and I have a lot of files on it. But if you can, if you're programmed to do that and your brain is equipped to do that, you will see you are only physical in this physical reality, or perhaps other physical realities that parallel this one. That's another topic in and by itself. Today's blogs mostly deal with everything that's changing in the world. They have to be timely. They can't go into, I'm going to sit there for another couple of hours in the morning and talk about how you're going to heal your issues. Simple with the issues, okay? What's happening is this reality is ending. The consciousness grids are collapsing. People are broken. Emotional problems are being exasperated by everything else going on around us. Political, economic, religious, geophysical, all systems are collapsing, and they're collapsing very quickly. If you're programmed to get it, then lucky you, because you can look at the world through different eyes than people who are just wandering around saying, why is everybody so crazy? Why don't things work? Look at our presidential candidates. I mean, couldn't the country do better with this? Why are things happening? The level of dysfunctionality and anxiety, I can't even tell you, even children are having anxiety and panic attacks. I mean, this is the focus of where I need to go right now with my readings, and perhaps, doing them as YouTube blogs is something people will like or not like. I still will continue, of course, to do my daily blogs where I'm typing and adding pictures and so forth. But for the most part, you can visualize me sitting here in the morning. No, I'm not drinking a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I only drink juice. And you can visualize me sitting here with my cup of juice, and I'm just not even so much talking to Z anymore. I am just tapping into the grids of reality. I am tapping into what's actually going on out there and what I'm supposed to blog for the day. The blogs also, one other feature is that they have evolved from, I used to just type a few sentences, post, and I was done for the day, to editing. There is a lot of editing. I do go back in because I want to add news articles to embellish storyline. I want to add pictures. I want to add personal experiences. So you can go into Ellie's World at any particular time of the day and see that my first post may be 8 o'clock in the morning, and maybe by noon I've updated the post some more. I also have one other little blog that I wanted to mention, and it wasn't a little blog back in the day, and that's Crystal Link's e-zine. That's another daily feature of Crystal Links, but it's strictly news and birthdays and things of that kind. It's not about stuff that I talk about. At one point, Crystal Link's news e-zine was actually drawing 1 million readers a day. The stats program would reference this because people were very, very much interested. They want to know what's going on in the world. They know the metaphysical slant on things and how I can incorporate metaphysics and physics and all of that. But they like the news. They like the interesting news. And because people are busy, if I put things on e-zine, they can just look there maybe a little later in the day and just grasp whatever else is going on in the world. My blogs also, I will put them onto my Facebook and sometimes connect with Twitter and wherever else I feel to do it. Right now, it just feels like YouTube is the place to be, perhaps to reach a different audience. Don't know, not sure. This is where I'm guided. This is what I'm doing. And I hope that you come back often and read Ellie's World when you have the chance. Most blogs are archived, so you will see an archiving on the side with usually a little icon of some kind, so you know to go there. It's just, Crystal Links is and has always been, like your life, like my life, a work in progress, and it will continue until this reality, as I call it, fades to black, because I was shown how it actually fades to black. So don't worry about everything collapsing in the craziness of the world, and try to hold your emotions in check. Don't overly invest in anything or anybody that's negative. I know that you're probably having difficulties with one thing or the other. That's the nature of the game. The whole reality was created for people to struggle through and to work on their issues and to work out things and to find answers, and things like synchronicity and coincidences, and how the whole pattern, the whole puzzle all fits together. And that's kind of what Ellie's World is about. So I welcome you to come back and visit whenever it comes to mind. Thank you.